Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Executive Innovation Show. It has been several weeks, maybe the last 3 weeks. But I want to say thank you all who connected with me outside of LinkedIn, whether that's through a text message, a phone call, or even a message here on LinkedIn. I want to say thank you all so much for reaching out. But I am back just again, slowly navigating back into the business, back into life, because we know life can just happen. Well, it happens to all of us, the unexpected things, loss of a loved one, all the things. But the thing about life is we still got to move forward. We still got to live. We still got to celebrate the person and get back to doing the things that we love, but also still grieving if we need to, because we know it's a roller coaster ride when it comes to life in general. But I am excited to be back here to do my weekly live show on the Executive Innovation Show here on LinkedIn, also on YouTube, but also on Facebook if you're over there. Welcome, say hello. And we're going to talk about being busy and how that is not serving us as founders. So before we dive into today's topic, let me introduce myself because I may have some new audience here. And as you all come in, say hello and also let me know where you're joining from as well so that I can welcome you, but also acknowledge you and share what you do. So, welcome to the Executive Innovation Show, which I said that already, y'all. Just getting back into the flow. And today we're talking about moving from being just busy, but truly stepping into federal readiness. And if you're new here, it's okay. Welcome. And when it comes to busyness, and I'm guilty of this as well too. Sometimes we get so busy with all the things of life, of the business, that we want to position ourselves for opportunities in the federal market. But because we're so overwhelmed with all these different opportunities that are coming our way, we're like, okay, where do we start? Where do we begin? And that is what we're going to talk about. How do we bring that into more focus and execution? Because we're planning a lot, but right now we need to execute. Welcome the Slay Queen. She said, hey, Shevvy, Queen. That's right. And she is joining from Odenton, Maryland. So welcome. Thank you. And please drop in the chat what you do. I know what you do, but I want to make sure that my audience who are listening knows exactly what you do and how you can serve them. And, I know you just came from VIP, so you know when it comes to federal readiness, how important that is. And we're really talking about how we move from busy to being truly federal ready as a busy founder. Okay. So I am Shevvy, the host, also an author of my book, Woman Breed. But that's another topic, so definitely can check that out. I have posts, and that book is really focused on helping women to lead and thrive in their lives, career, and businesses while thriving in every season. But today we're talking about federal readiness. So as your federal and business strategist, I really help tech founders to turn readiness into revenue, because we're going to start with the foundation, and then from the foundation we go into business development, but also we get into grants, SBIR grants, and different sorts of opportunity for me to support you. But today we're going to focus on federal readiness sprint. Okay. And I'm going to share with you 3 things why you need to move from being overly busy and really look at the opportunities that you are having and coming into your ecosystem to really be fully ready for those opportunities. Okay. And one thing that I focus on is truly about helping founders who are in business, have been in business for the last 3 to 5 years. They are, financially stable in the sense of making money in the commercial market, but now they are considering or have been trying to break into the federal market, but they don't have the foundation. And we're going to really focus on that. And I'm going to share more about my Federal Readiness Sprint, which starts on November 18th and is really helping founders like you to really position your company for federal opportunities, because it's no more planning, y'all. Like if you're looking for true execution before the year ends, before 2025 is over and now we're in 2026, then you need to stay tuned. You need to listen, and also you need to reach out if you're like, hey, this is for me. Okay. We have Samantha here as well. Thank you for joining. She said, hey, Shevvy. And she is joining from my hometown, New Jersey. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just like I said to the Rochelle, drop what you do in the chat, because you never know who is listening, who is watching this show later on. And if you are on Facebook, say hello as well. If you're on YouTube, also say hello. All right. So before I get into moving from busy to federal readiness, let me just share a little bit about my background. Retired Air Force veteran of 22 plus years in the military. One second, y'all. And during my time of service throughout those 22 plus years, y'all, I was able to do so many different things. Okay. Support the base, readiness for my units. So when it comes to readiness and making sure that we as a unit were prepared and ready for Inspector Generals to come through and make sure that we had everything that we needed, making sure all the different sections had everything in order, from their policies, paperwork, training, all of it, making sure people were ready for deployment, making sure they had the resources, make sure we were able to report to say, yes, our unit was, at this percentage when it comes to readiness. And if anything happened, notification came down, our people were ready to go. So that is what I bring to you. So I understand the importance of being federal ready. I'm just bringing what I've lived and execute in the military to help you as a founder who may not have, been a part of the military, doesn't understand the process, or not even the military, but just the government as a whole, and really looking at how we can make this complicated thing simple for you as a founder. Okay. And Rochelle said, transformational personal brand and image strategist. Yes, that is what she does. If you are looking to elevate your brand and how you show up here on LinkedIn in the world, please reach out to her for sure. All right. So that's a little about me. So when it comes to readiness, I'm not new to this. Like they would say, I'm true to this because I'm all about we plan, but also we execute. Okay. So when it comes to federal readiness, I want you to look at your current state right now. And I've had conversation with tech founders in different areas, non-tech founders. I've had individuals reach out to me and they said to me, hey, I need help with positioning, or I have a lot of opportunities, but I don't know, I don't have the time, number one, and capacity to decipher which one is important. So they're missing opportunity. So if you are that founder who is busy, you have opportunities, but you don't have the time to even filter out which opportunity is more in alignment with you, then the federal readiness sprint that I'm going to talk about shortly is something that you more than likely will, I recommend you reach out to learn more about that. Okay. But really, really sit down, because I know you're busy, and too often we're not sitting down and we're not reflecting on what opportunities are being missed because we are so freaking busy. Okay, so look at your current state, because if you have clarity, you're going to start seeing momentum. But if you have clarity, you don't have clarity, but you're just doing things, what happens is like we stay in this cycle of just doing without any true results. So again, I want you to think as a founder, what are the busy things that you are doing in your business right now that is taking time away from you to help you position your company for federal opportunities? So always look at, do you have the clarity right now to go after federal opportunities? Okay. Because you can't prepare for the federal market if you don't understand the federal market. And that's where I'm helping you to reduce that learning curve, that time frame, because guess what? I've operated in that space for 22+ years. As a business owner, I've navigated in the sense of, outreach, research, identifying partnership, in conversation with partnership, waiting for contracts to be, not contract, but waiting for, contract agreement to be signed between myself and other companies. So these are all the things that I'm going to help you to position your company, not only for federal opportunities, but how you can leverage partnerships to create opportunities in the federal space for your business. And that's where the Federal Readiness Spring Foundation Bootcamp comes into play, because too often as business owners, we like, let's go to the top. Okay. And if if you are that business owner, or you've experienced that, okay, I don't want to wait mentality, drop a 1 in the chat, because I'm guilty of that too. Like, drop a 1 in the chat if you like, this should happen like yesterday, because I'm guilty of that too. But in order to get to that point of clarity, positioning, we got to understand the process. And I know, especially as a first timer who's looking to break into this market, and you're like, hey, I want, there's opportunities in the federal market, but I don't know where to start, because there's a lot of resources out there. When I say there's so much free resources out there, it's overwhelming. Okay. So you're probably at that stage where you're truly overwhelmed, but I am that person who is going to help you to not feel overwhelmed, but we're going to plan, we're going to execute, and make sure that you are positioning yourself for these opportunities, and we're not letting them go to waste anymore. Okay. So drop a 1 in the chat if you're like, yeah, I'm like, let's make this happen like yesterday. So when it comes to clarity and readiness, the biggest thing is really identifying how's your company positioned, and is it clear that they know what you do? I know for me, over my journey of business and navigating and tweaking and adjusting and pivoting, I think now you can see a steady flow of, okay, Shevvy, she's dealing with BD, she's dealing with federal readiness, she's dealing with anything in the federal market, helping and grants. So before, at one point, it was leadership. So now when someone comes to my profile, or they go to my J3M website, then they will see, okay, this is for BD, this is for federal stuff. But if they go to my leadership website, then they're going to say, okay, this is training development. So you have to be clear, my friend, on your positioning, and is knowing, who do you serve? Who do you want to serve in this market when it comes to the federal agencies? And there's so many. Okay. And we go deeper into that, into Federal Readiness Sprint, because again, it's not about coming in and just getting information. It's coming in, we talk, we discuss, we execute. We are executing, because I want you to get out of the planning stage and into the doing, the real doing, to position your company for federal opportunities. Okay. Samantha dropped a 1. Girl, drop a 1 for me too, because I've been there. And some days I'm like, hey, I'm doing the work. What's going on? But it's all good, because we continue to move forward. We continue to position ourselves for these opportunities. So you have to know who you're serving. What offer do you have for them? And also, what is the agency buying? Because we're like, hey, I have this specific services, but is the agency that you are looking to sell buying what you're offering? And are you aligned with the right agency? All of that we flush out in the Federal Readiness Sprint that starts November 18. Okay. So clarity. We want to get out of the chaos and move into more clarity, so that we can have clearer execution and see opportunities actually start flowing in the door. All right. So the second thing, and Slay Queen Rochelle said 1, yes. And we're all those, if you're watching this later on, drop a 1 in the chat to say, yes, you know what? Sometimes like, hey, I want this to happen like yesterday. Okay. So clarity is number 1. The second thing is organization. So, and that is going to drive money. Okay. Because the government does not want to deal with someone who is unorganized, who doesn't have their business and items together. Like, you have to be organized. Just like with readiness, guess what? We have to know, what we need, how many people, how many gear, what training, all the things. We have to make sure that we have those things in place. And sometimes it was last minute running around, because guess what? Oh, we need this, X, Y, and Z. But you want to make sure you have everything in place as much as you can, because things will change, and sometimes it's out of your control, but you should be able to adjust, navigate, and get what you need. Okay. Because you don't want not being organized to impact your dollars. Okay. And what that means is having all of your required documents, whether that's your capability statement, whether that's making sure that you identify the agencies, maybe it's registering into SAM.gov. So it's really looking at what are the essential things that I need to make sure that I'm positioned. What is the agency requiring me to have in place? Is it, maybe you have a certification, but again, that does not guarantee anything, but it's how do you make sure that you have the things in place? Because sometimes there are opportunities specifically for specific certifications, whether that's a service-disabled veteran, woman-owned business, HUD zone, different things. But again, making sure that you have those things and they are not expired. Okay, they are not expired, because one thing I've experienced when I was serving a client, a couple months ago, and we were applying for SBIR, for Department of Energy and Department of War, now it used to be DOD. And the person's SAM registration was about to expire. And I had to remind that individual, like, we need to make sure that this is updated before we submit, because guess what? If it was not updated, we could not submit. So all of these things that you may forget to, like, oh, I did it and forget it. No, you have to do it, but also you have to track it to make sure that it is still in compliant. Being organized is all about making sure that you are compliant, because if you're not in compliant, those opportunities will go to someone else. So drop compliant in the chat, because part of the process of positioning and getting to those federal opportunities is compliance. So drop compliant in the chat for me. So we talked about clarity, because we have to have that. That's the first thing. Knowing exactly who we're serving, what we're providing, what they're buying, and position ourselves, but also being organized. Do we have the items that we need to move forward into that federal readiness ecosystem? Do we truly have it, or are we just saying we have it, but we don't, it's not updated, it expired? If you have an MBE, is that still valid? Because, everything has a year timeline. Is it 3, as the 3 years pass, or did you just get it, which is great? And the last thing that I want to hit on is the readiness aspect. And the readiness aspect requires a rhythm. It's not just saying, hey, I'm ready. They don't want to just hear like, hey, Shevvy, I'm ready. They want to see it in action. They truly want to see it in action. And it's not, like I said, it's not just set up, forget it. Like, readiness is truly making sure that, hey, an agency looks at your LinkedIn profile. They see Samantha is supporting, women in male dominant space. They see that Rochelle is supporting companies and women to elevate their brand. And they're like, hey, we need to reach out. And now when they reach out, they ask you for specific things to meet a certain deadline, you have that readiness. That means that you say, hey, here's everything that you need. You're not going to scramble trying to figure things out. And when it comes to the Federal Readiness Sprint, it's really helping you to position your business to be fully federal ready. And that starts with the foundation. And a lot of people want to skip the foundation because we are ready for the results. We're ready to do the work. But we have to build the foundation first. And that starts with the Federal Readiness Sprint, which starts on November 18th. And you might be thinking, Shevvy, is this just another, cohort? No, this is a very intimate space that will be with 6 other founders, whether you're a tech founder, non-tech founder. And when I say it's not just here's information, here's what we're doing, here's what we're executing on. So and I'll share very shortly when you leave the program what all you will receive by the end of the 6 weeks. Okay. So if you are in that space of overwhelmed and you're looking for structure, you're looking for guidance, and you're looking for someone to help you execute so that you can move the needle to really position your company for federal opportunities, then you need to send the word sprint to me to really learn about how you can get into the Federal Readiness Sprint Bootcamp so that before 2025 ends, you have positioned your company for federal opportunity. Because yes, there's a furlough going on. Yes, the government is not spending money in certain areas, because guess what? Money is still being spent in certain areas. So you don't want to wait until, the government is back open, now money is spending. Because when that happens, guess what? there's a backlog of things that needs to be purchased, services that needs to be rendered. So you want to make sure that you are positioned and ready, and also have those agency contact information. And because you're already going to be building relationships with those individuals beforehand. Okay. So we're not waiting until we hear knock, knock, the door's open. No, we are going to position now, because when that time comes, and it will, you want to be able to get a piece of that money, of the millions and billions of dollars. And I want you to get a piece of that. Okay. So when it comes to the federal readiness sprint, it's truly for the tech founder who want hands-on, who this is not a self-paced, this is not a do it on your own. This is done with you experience. And as I stated, only 6 founders I am taking through this journey to really help them to position, because I know that you've been trying, but you don't have the time and capacity to get it done. And people who has worked with me in the past will tell you that we get things done. I'm an activator, a connector, visionary person. Like, we move the needle. Same thing that I did when I was in charge of, readiness for different units in the military. When I work with clients, whether through SBIR or helping them build out their curriculum, like, we truly get things done. So I'm not speaking just to be speaking. I am sharing because that's what truly happens. And if we have a few people on here. We have Rochelle, we have Samantha, and I've worked with both of them. Like, let them know in the chat when it comes to getting things done, if like what I'm sharing is factual, because I don't have time to waste your time or my time. And I want founders who are serious about taking action, moving the needle, and getting results. And if you're that person, then I want you to reach out to me with the word sprint. So what is this program about? So the Federal Readiness Sprint was created to really help founders who are confused, who has a lot of resources, but don't know how to implement, and are truly ready to get out of the planning stage and more into the execution phase of position their company for federal opportunities. So this program provides, I'm going to read so I can make sure I capture all my notes, provides structure, clarity, and actionable support. Again, structure, clarity, and actionable support to help you as a founder position your business with confidence. Okay. We're not just going to just throw something together. There's a process, there's a structure, there's execution, there's work being done. And within those 6 weeks, we will get it done. And after spam calling y'all. So during the 6 weeks, by the time you graduate the boot camp, the Federal Readiness Boot Camp, which starts on November 18, you're going to have a clear positioning and messaging that demonstrates your federal readiness. You will, like, I am teaching you these strategies that I have implemented for myself and clients to bring in federal opportunities in a sense of partnership, in a sense of visibility, because again, I don't guarantee you the contract, but I guarantee you that we position you for those opportunities, and you continue to work. If you want to work with me, then we move forward. So clear position and messaging, and also partnership. You may, by the time you're done, maybe connected with someone who can help you to step into that space a lot sooner than if you were doing it on your own. And Rochelle said, hard facts fire. Yes, when it comes to we move the needle, we go from here to the here. We get things done over here. Okay. So yes, thank you for that, Rochelle. Okay. So by the end of week 6, you're going to have a clear position and messaging that demonstrate your federal readiness. You're going to have a personal readiness plan to close your operational and compliance gap. Because again, you don't want to be like ready to apply for something and then you're not in compliant. It is so important. When I was working readiness in the military, we had requirements. If Inspector General was coming down due to their big base inspection, guess what? We had to make sure we were in compliant. And myself and my section working the readiness for the organization, we made sure when it came to everyone else, we were in compliant. If it was my, my work section, we had to make sure we were in compliant. If it was hazardous material, which we had, I had to make sure we were in compliance. So compliance is going to be so essential in order for you to position and be ready. The key word is ready. Okay. We're not just doing things just to do things. We're doing things to position our businesses to be federal ready, because when it comes to the government, opportunities will drop and you got to be ready. Because I've worked behind the scenes. I have friends, when I was in active duty and working in the contracting office, and I've had conversations to understand their process, because again, when we have money and it needs to be spent, we need to make sure we have companies that are already ready in position to say, hey, here's what we're looking for. Can you do this? What is your price? And I want you to be positioned for those opportunities, because again, that federal door will be opening sooner than later. Okay. So after that, by the end of week 6, you will have clarity in which agencies to target, and not just and it's not about just only identifying the agencies. It's really identifying a person in that agency to connect with. So again, we're not just here's the fluff, like we are truly executing. And y'all, I'm like this because I'm excited to really help six founders to really go from just feeling, like lost, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like they're in just like the chaos of all the things, and they're ready to stop missing opportunities. Like if this is you, then you reach out to me with the word, just send me a DM with the word sprint, or you can drop it right here in the comments of this live and say, hey, sprint, I want to learn more about the 6-week boot camp. So yes, definitely clarity, because again, alignment, and truly understanding what are their priorities. Okay. So we're going to go deep into that. Also, we're going to identify strategic partners. So it's not about just being ready. It's really identifying and going after the contracts. It's also looking at how can we partner with partners who are already in that space to cut our time down, but also increase our opportunities as well. And the last thing that you leave it in when you graduate this program is truly real momentum. Because I've joined programs before and I've paid my money, and it's not what we expected, and we're disappointed. And what I'm saying for me, what you're going to invest is well worth it. Actually, you're getting a lot more from what you're actually investing in this program. And the price that it's at right now, next year, it's definitely different. And this is no like scare tactics or no, like seriously. So definitely, like, we are operating in real momentum because we're implementing. We are implementing, because too often programs just give you information after information. And then you're like, okay, I got all this information. Now what? We're not doing that here. We are truly focused on structure, process, execution. Okay. So if you are in that space of being a tech founder or a founder, maybe you're not in tech, that's okay. You can reach out to me, send me the word sprint to learn more about the Federal Readiness Bootcamp. It's 6 weeks. We meet virtually once a week, but also you will have support outside of the weekly calls that we do, which will be in Slack. So you can ask questions. We're going to review your capability statement. We're going to make sure that you are registered into the proper systems and your information is up to date, but also we're going to identify we are doing the work. So when you graduate by the end of the 6 weeks, I listed all those things, and I'll just hit it one more time before I go, is the clear positioning, messaging. So when you come here on LinkedIn, which should be your preferred platform, and the Slate Queen will tell you that as well, is to show that, okay, this person is federal ready, like he or she is ready to support us if we need to. Personalized readiness plan, like really looking at, okay, making sure that we're in compliant, the gap, and we continue to move forward outside of the 6 weeks. Because it's not just doing the 6 weeks and then stop. It's like, okay, maybe the next step is business development, getting someone to support you, whether that's me or someone else. Clarity on the agencies. And we're not picking all the agencies. We're not. We are picking core specific ones that we know that we can support because they buy what we're selling. They're buying what we're selling. And then list of strategic partnership, because again, we want to collaborate. We want to save time. Okay. We don't want to be going all over the place. We want to make sure that we maximize our time, our effort, and our income as well. And then last, truly momentum, moving the needle, executing. Yeah, so, but I want to, any questions, you can drop it in the chat. Like I said, it's my first time back, going live, and I'm looking forward to you reaching out. You can DM me any questions you may have about the Federal Readiness Sprint. And I want to thank Rochelle and Samantha for being here and joining live. If you're watching this later on #replay, I'm your host, Shevvy, and as your federal and business strategist, definitely helping tech founders to turn readiness into revenue. And if you're like, hey, this is something that I need, you can join the cohort. If you're like, hey, I prefer more one-on-one support, you can also DM me as well too, because that's an option as well if you choose to go that route. But this is 6 weeks of experience and execution for the founder who wants guidance and not just planning, but truly doing the work. So when 2026 gets here, you're already positioned for opportunities. When the federal market opens up again, you are ready for opportunities. And people are still getting opportunities, y'all. So reach out to me. And I want to thank you all for joining me on the Executive Innovation Show. And I will see you all next Wednesday as well. Bye.